Mitch Novak is at a hotel in the middle of where those large crowds are partying and defying emergency orders. He joins us now to talk more about what's happening in Miami. Thank you for making the time for us.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So tell us about where you work, your work environment. We're looking at the video you shot. Describe what it's been like to be stuck in the middle of it all.
Yeah, I own the hotel on the right of your screen a moment ago. I've lived here for over 30 years. And for the last 10 years, the quality of life and insurance of public safety has deteriorated to what we're witnessing again this year in March. This has been an ongoing problem, which again has progressively become worse.
I recall that well. I worked in Miami for quite a few years. These out-of-control partiers, they do gather every spring break of late on South Beach. But does it feel different this year at all?
Despite the pandemic, it really feels very much the same. I've been here before, and I've been an activist and involved in as a public official. I served in the capacity of chairman for 13 years of both the city and the county's Historic Preservation Board. I know government. It's a complete failure of our elected leaders who are beholden to Ocean Drive special entertainment issues. They've refused, despite my urging them for nearly 8 years now, to address the incompatible and problematic entertainment zoning. Now, finally, I believe that could be something that's in the cards.
Yeah, so we know there are local politics involved, but there's also a statewide politics involved, right? The governor has eased restrictions. Florida has much laxer restrictions than many of other states surrounding it, where a lot of these partiers are coming from. Describe the battle between local municipalities like Miami Beach and the statewide openness and willingness to reopen businesses and bring tourists into the state.
You know, the chatter that the current mayor is making regarding masks and social distancing, you know, perhaps it's relevant, but in terms of what's happening here, there's very little. In fact, I haven't seen a mask in days, nor social distancing. It's almost as if the pandemic is not a reality. You know, I don't think that's much of the narrative, although that's the narrative the mayor has tried to create. It's you know, the city has embraced this party for years and years, and every year they say strict enforcement, zero tolerance. It's a sham, and again, it's a complete failure of all the elected officials in my municipality of Miami Beach.
But the COVID pandemic is a real thing, right? I mean, we are looking at all these people with no social distancing. It takes it to a different risk level this year when we're still in the middle of a pandemic. No one's wearing masks, no one's social distancing. Does that concern you at all?
It absolutely concerns me. I jokingly say there's going to be the South Beach variant emerging very soon. But again, in terms of the problems on the street, the pandemic, it doesn't really play into the equation, or at least not in the mindset of the revelers we see.
I'm sorry to interrupt you really quickly before we go. Local police are in a really tough spot, right? The city's imposed a curfew. And they say that they don't want them to keep partying. At the same time, they don't want a mass confrontation or any violence to escalate. What do you think should be done right now, tonight, quickly?
Again, the messaging needs to be that the party's over, and they need to dance carefully to avoid or to quell any further rise of violence and mayhem, which is going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, Mitch Novak, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for the insight and the video you provided so we can all get an idea of what's happening on South Beach.
Great. I hope to provide you with more. Thanks.